Hi everyone. How are you? How you doing? Hope you're well. So, I want to talk about too much. Things that we do too much. When you do certain things too much, it comes with some disadvantage, some flaws, and when you do things too much, people will read meanings to it, and in the process as well, you tend to go over the limit. So my first point of things that we do too much and the consequences, and it's a general belief, really, general belief for people, and is when you speak too much, you will tell lies. Yes, when you speak too much, you tell lies. When you speak too much, because people are listening to you, when people are giving you more attention, you just want to give more scenarios, want to make it real. In the process, you add more to your stories or whatever that you're telling, and you will lie. And you know what? In the process, there are some people that they are very quick. They are quick to listen, and they will judge you. They will be able to read between the line that how does this and this connect. Definitely, this person has added to it, so they will know. So when you speak too much, you will tell lies. That's the number one fact. And number two fact for me is that when you think too much, you might die of depression. When you think too much, when you think too much, it's gets you into, you can be depressed. Some people start hallucinating. There's so many things that comes with it when people think too much. This depression are few causes of thinking too much though. Based on medical research and other, I'm not going on medical field here, but it's a general belief that when people think too much, they get depressed. And part of the reason they could get depressed is stress. When they can go through the stress they are going through. Most people take time to come to terms with stressful, that when people are stressed or stressful events such as maybe bereavement or relationship breakdown, people think, oh, because of that, they can be depressed. Maybe personality, family history, or giving birth. These are part of the things that could cause depression. When people give birth to, there's some people, they find it that something has changed in them. They're seeing things differently, the way the baby is not sleeping or crying and all that, get them depressed. And loneliness as well. So when people are lonely, because they are thinking, they could get into depression. So they're always thinking of maybe, and most of the time what they're thinking of negative things. If they're always thinking of positive things, it will actually still help, but because they're thinking of negative things, it set them into being depressed. And people that maybe alcohol, drugs, and all that kind of set people into being depressed once they are not able to lay their hands on getting those maybe drugs, alcohol, and illness. When people are sick and they've been trying one or two things, to get them to get to get healed, to get ill, as in for them to get okay and be able to perform what they normally perform, to have a good health. Once it's going on for a while, it gets some people depressed. People set into depression, and that's that about number two, that when you think too much, you tend to get depressed. And number third one is if you cry too much, you may lose your sight. It's a general belief. Some people think when you cry too much, you may lose your sight. Do you believe in that? A little bit. To me, I think it will affect. To me, I would say it will affect it might affect your vision. Some people vision might be a bit blurry, depending on people that maybe they're unlucky, that things, unfortunate things happens to them a lot. So what happens is that everything, they keep crying. Some people can cry 10 times, more than 10 times a day. They wake up again, they think, oh, I'm already alive, I wake again, how am I going to sort this thing? Is this person going to see me? And before you know it, they're already shedding tears. They're really quick to tears. I'm also quick to tears. So that tend to affect their vision. That's my own take on, when you cry too much, that you lose your sight. I feel when you cry too much, affect your vision. After all, after a while it start affecting your vision. That's my number third point, as a general belief, that when you cry too much, it will affect your sight. Number fourth one for me is that if you love too much, you will be lost. When you love too much, you'll be lost. And people that you love too much, they can take you on a journey of lies, and because you love them, and they will deceive you. You will be lost. If you love them, they will deceive you. You go on a journey of whatever with them. You don't even know when to back up, because you love them. You just so love them. That's why that even sometimes we see this some post or incident that happen, and people showcase it on the bring it on the internet, on social media. I mean that maybe someone bite the other person, and they'll start wondering, when did they start seeing the signs, the red flag? Why didn't they leave? It was because they are blinded. They love that person too much, that they feel, oh, this person cannot harm me, this person cannot do so thing. They get lost in the process. And it's also with children as well. When you have with your children, when people tell you they are doing so thing, and it's not something they do, or you don't see them doing it. As a parent, you want to fight and say or argue that they're not like that. But if you take time sometimes and ask them in private, like, did you do it? Because sometimes if you ask them in public, because of people looking at them, they might say, oh, I didn't do it. But try and also take time to ask them in private, telling them, to tell you the truth. They might like put their face down or smile or shy away. And you have to kind of lecture them that you shouldn't have done that. I trusted you. I've already vouched for you outside, and you can find a way of kind of mending that side. But in a nutshell, when you love too much, you will be lost. That's the fourth general belief. And the fifth general belief is, if you care too much, you'll be taken for granted. Yes, if you care too much, people don't tend to be serious with you. What they meant to actually take as ASAP, they will drag it, and they believe that, oh, once they explain to you, you're gonna accept, because you love them, you care too much. That's why some people will call you that they are sick. Meanwhile, maybe you guys are meant to meet somewhere, and laziness to control, and they will call you and just say, oh, I'm under the weather, I'm not feeling too great, blah blah blah. And they know you're gonna rush down, you get them things, maybe you buy food for them, you will cook for them, when you care too much. The same thing happens to people in relationship, that maybe their boyfriend or their girlfriend, they know that they love them, so they take that for granted. Even if they want them to come over, they tend to use, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling great, I'm under the weather. So they will just they know before you know that this person will come on, and they don't just come on just empty-handed. They will kind of show care. They might help you to clean the house, they might help you to prepare food, help you to sort your house. Yeah, you have nice time. They sometimes use that also to get hold of their loved ones. Once you care too much, they tend to take that for granted, and that moves me. That takes me to number 6. If you play too much, people will take you. If you play too much, people will take you on serious. If you play too much, you will not be taken serious often. Yeah, when you play too much, that everything you always crack jokes. When you are saying, by the time you're actually speaking or pointing to something very serious, people will just still think you're joking, that you're just taking the joke to the next limit. You're updating your joking level, that like it's not serious, he or she is just playing. So when you joke too much about things, you play too much, people will not take you serious that often. They believe everything is just that's what you trend on. You always find something funny. If someone laugh, you always play about it. If someone hit their leg, you always find something to say about it, which might hurt some people, but because of that, they don't take you serious. So anything you're actually saying something tangible, something very serious, people won't take you serious. and it looks like the boy that cry wolf. So they won't believe you. Let's say, for example, a story of a boy that always cry, lion, 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 and parent will rush there, or other people, loved one will rush there to say, oh, where's the lion, so they can save him. And it will, like, they will find out that he's just joking. But the day he actually saw the lion and he was screaming lion, 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 people believe that, you know what, this boy is just joking. They just left him till when the lion actually feed on him. So when people joke too much, when you joke too much, people don't take you serious that often. And the next one, which is the seventh one, is if you trust too much, you will be betrayed. Yeah, that takes me to, you know, when you care too much, that people take you for granted. But at the same time too, or if you love too much, people will you will be lost. It all works hand in hand, that the fact that love, you care too much, you love too much, and you trust them too much, they will take you for granted. They will betray you, because they know that you trust them too much. They can cook up a story. They can tell you they are in another country, why they're actually not far off you. They might just be a couple of streets away from you, but because they know that whatever they tell you, you believe them, you trust them, they will do it. They will tell lies because they know. So also that takes me to people in relationship, that even when the other guy is still double dating, if the girl asks him, he will say, oh no, there's nothing like that, because he knows that, most of them knows that once they tell the girl that no, they're not dating someone else, the lady will believe them. The same thing, maybe the guy will ask the girl, are you dating someone else, or are you seeing so person? They'll say no, because she believed that the guy trusted her. So by the time the guy finally will find out that this girl was actually be dating someone else in the past couple of months, and the person will start feeling like a fool, like, why didn't I believe when I first realized that this person is cheating on me? And is the trust. It is the trust, the love, and everything that they have for this person. Same thing with the children as well. When they know that their parents love them and they can do anything for them, the way they would demand for some things or cook up stories just to go out with their friends sometimes, you know. And even when you ask them, have you left that place, they will tell you, oh, I've already left 5-10 minutes ago. You know, meanwhile they're still there. So they believe that you trust them. So that's that. And also with people, you know, people at work, there are some employers or employees that, you know, they know that people trust them, but after they gain people's trust, that's when they strike. People with deals or so, or people that are selling things, they'll first of all gain your trust, and then they will betray you. By the time they betray you, they already know that you've gained their trust, so you will definitely believe them, and they will strike and betray you. And it sets some people into is a very long time mental issue with them. And the eighth one is, if you work too much, you might delete, you might be deleted because of stress. So when people work too much, especially over here, or you go abroad, or not just that time, or even back home in Nigeria, or wherever black country that you're watching it from, you know, some people do 3 to 4, 5 jobs, and they don't have time to rest. Some are actually leaving one job, they are working to the next one. Maybe they have 1 hour in between to take train or board their coach to the place, and on the way, that's when they are actually getting snack and eating. And you know, by the time they finish and they get home, they already set alarm for the next 2 hours or 3 hours, and they're also rushing again. They don't have enough rest, and they do this every day, 7 days a week. And they're thinking of the money they are getting, and it's about some people, because they are chasing to buy a house in back home, maybe in Nigeria or Ghana or wherever you are, and they want to put a pool there. They want to impress. Because of that, they are doing too much, they are working too much, and some of them, one day they will get home, or they will sleep and they don't wake up again. So because of that, working too much without rest is not safe, and that might make someone to buy. And the next one is, if you eat too much, you will be obese. That's another general belief, that when you eat too much, you will get obese. And yeah, some people, when they eat too much, it contributes to their being obese. Why some, I don't agree with that sometimes. Why some, they don't eat too much, but yeah, they get, they pump up. I have a daughter that she's a size 6, and she can eat all this nut chocolate, blah blah blah. You don't see it in her. She's so she's not like me, that even the air I breathe in, the water I drink, I'm blowing up. So that alone has set that boundary for me to control what I consume. I control that goes in, you know. So with the fact that when you eat too much, you get obese, do I agree with that? I would say 50-50, depending on people's body. Some people, yeah, it does like that. Some people is when they've given birth, and some, you know, it doesn't have. Got some people, they've given birth to 4 or 5 children, they're asking you as something else, and you can't even see it. When I stay next to them, you think I'm older than them, maybe with stature or whatever, you know, their physique, but it does happen to some people, what it doesn't. So though it's a general belief that when you eat too much, you get obese, I hope that point is passed well across, that it's 50-50. It works for some and it doesn't work for some. And the 10th one is, if you sleep too much, you will be idle. I agree to that. When you sleep too much, you don't get to let your brain work. Your brain goes to sleep, and you don't get to think, to crack your brain, you know, to think of better things to do. After a while, you get idle. Even if something just quickly happened and you're sleeping, you're woken up, it takes a while for that person to process, whatever that happens. They, you know, because they've been, it's not just good for the brain, for the body and all that. They get idle and they start thinking of unnecessary things, and they even make them lazy as well. So when you think too much, you tend to get idle. That's another general belief. Another general belief that I have here is if you spend too much, you will have no future. Yeah, if you spend too much, if you don't know how to control yourself, and if you're the type that like to do competition or chase on, so person has this one, I must get it, you tend to dip your hand in savings. Maybe what you're meant to be saving for raining days, you always dip your hand into it, and you just want to spend, you want to look good, you want to flaunt things, you want people to take, you know, all those things. So when you spend too much, you might not have future as in, they don't think of it that, what if all these things crash? Do I have a backup? Do I have something to fall back on? So that's my own take on, when you spend too much, you have no future, meaning they do not have any other things to plan for rather than just to chase what other people are doing. So they are actually chasing other people's goals instead of chasing their own goals. So that's my on that general belief that says, if you spend too much, you will have no future. And number 12 general belief that I have here is, if you wear makeup too much, you will lose your beauty. Yeah, I believe that 80%, 80%, if you wear makeup too much, you will lose your beauty. You will not be confident of yourself. You will not be able to even want to see yourself on the camera or on the mirror. You always want to have makeup on. When they wake up in the morning, they already have the makeup next to them on their table, and the mirror is there as well. When they hear the doorbell, they just want to get up and look at themselves. They don't feel comfortable to come and, you know, check to attend to someone or someone else to see their face without makeup on, and they lose that confidence in themselves. When people now see them with makeup, they already see that they don't have that self-confidence. People even see them differently, like, you look different, and some people will like, oh, so this person not fine like this, or this person is not as beautiful as this. And yeah, it tends to set people back, and people don't now see their natural beauty the way the children are, that we see their natural beauty. But as they grow and start applying makeup, we see them looking more a bit mature. Though initially people were like, oh, this thing suits you, blah blah blah, but we tend to now take that baby picture that we know about and that natural beauty of, I'm not a makeup person, except maybe when my daughter is around and we're going out, she decided to do some touch up, and I don't want too much anyway because I feel like I'm going to look like masquerade. I've got a friend couple of years back that did her 50th birthday, and they did makeup for her, and I think later she wanted to receive a phone call, and when she was receiving the phone call and she was walking round and she passed through a mirror and she didn't recognize what she saw, then she had to walk back again and look at it and like, oh, who did I see? Then she said, oh, I look different, that she looks like a masquerade, that she can't even recognize herself. And she was telling that person that no, come and start again, come and return it down, that I don't look like myself. People won't recognize me when they see me. She didn't like that just thing. I saw it too and I agreed to it. So when you make up too much, you tend to lose your beauty. I believe in that general belief. I believe in that very well. And that takes me to number 13 general belief, which says if you look too much, you tend to lose focus. Yes, when you look too much, you lose focus. Whatever plan or aim you have, because you look too much, you tend to drag it because you're paying more attention to that thing you are looking at. It might actually even change your mind as well, and you get carried away. If you're actually going somewhere and you have a plan of getting to that place for 1 hour, because on your way you're always looking, your pace is going to reduce. You spend more time. You might even get forget that this is your aim, this is what you meant to achieve, and it kind of make you to lose focus. When you even have a target to cook and maybe you're watching too much TV, look too much of something, will make you to drag on your aims or what you aim to achieve. So I believe in that general belief that says if you look too much, you will lose focus. Number 14 take me to number 14 general belief takes me to if you pursue life too much, you will lose everything. Yeah, if you pursue life too much, you will lose everything. Like for example, when I was talking about people that work too much, they want to try and achieve this one, and they want to build house, they want to put pool there, they want people to see this, they want people to see that. They might end up losing everything, because if they sleep and they don't wake up again, they've lost everything. It's someone else that will work that will enjoy those things they work for. That's my own belief on that general belief that says if you pursue too much, you may lose everything. If you pursue people too much, people that have their own aims, if it's not your own aims, why pursue their own aims for them? You will lose. You will lose everything. When you pursue money too much, you might decide to invest all your savings in it. You will not think back to say, oh, let me keep this for a rainy. What if something negative happened? But they will put everything in it, and once that thing did not click, they will lose everything. That's why some people will say, oh, they put their social life this thing down and nothing to fall back on. Always remember to have a backup, something that just in case something happened, and you still see something to pick up from, which might not be as you used to, but it's better than when you're on the street, or you don't have a good mental health. You're always thinking depressed and all that. You're not thinking well. When people are talking, you don't even understand, can't relate to what they're talking about. So when you pursue too much, you may lose everything. And lastly for me is, if you expect too much, you will be disappointed. Yes, when you expect too much, you will be disappointed. When you think people owe you because you did for someone, people have to do the same for you. You are the one assuming that they must do for you. But what if they can't do for you? If you've helped someone in the past, maybe you house them, and a couple of years later they are married, things are good for them, and you are in crisis, and you call them that you want to come and live with them. They might take you in for a couple of days or months and decide to kick you out because they have their own life. You'll be thinking, oh, I took you in for years, then I clothed you, I fed you, I this one, that one. They don't have to do what you've done, because it's just we're different. But the right thing is, of course, we would love that they actually repay your good deeds, but it's not a must. So don't expect too much, because people will disappoint you. The person 2-3 years ago must have changed, because we're growing. They must have changed. Life event must have taught them to be more hardened in heart than being soft. So they might actually even see you that as at the time you were helping them, that you are using them. people they might have brainwashed them that, oh, you were actually enjoy so thing, you know, or you like to be the one helping rather than them be able to feed themselves. So once they have that feeling, once you are in crisis, they will like, oh God, so it's not your turn, isn't it? You always want to be the one to give. You don't want people to be under, above you, or on the same level with you. You want people to always be under you. So they will not want to give. So they believe that you already have, that you need to, because you helped them in the past, they need to also help you back. Expecting too much things from your parents, sense of entitlement, you know, could land you in being disappointed. So please do not do not expect too much from people. It will hurt you. Don't do that too much, because too much can hurt you so much. That's my own take. So the point I have listed out so far about the general belief is, number one, if you speak too much, you will lie. Most of the time you will lie when you speak too much. Second point is, if you think too much, you might be depressed. It leads to depression. I listed a couple of things about being depressed: loneliness, new birth, drugs, when someone is broke, ill-health, and all that. And the third one is, if you cry too much, you might lose your sight. To me, is you might lose your sight. I feel it might contribute to your vision, you know, that you might not be able to see well. You might end up have to use glasses for a while, and the length of the prescription might start getting increased sometimes, based on whatever one is going through. And also the fourth one is, if you love too much, you might be lost. The fifth one is, if you care too much, you'll be taken for granted. The sixth one is, if you play too much, you will not be taken serious often. And the seventh one is, if you trust too much, you will be betrayed. This eighth one is, if you work too much, you might be deleted of stress. The ninth one is, if you eat too much, you might be obese, or you will be obese. The 10th one is, if you sleep too much, you might be idle. You will be idle. The 11th general belief is, if you spend too much, you will have no future. The 12th point here is, if you wear too much makeup, you will lose your beauty. And the 13th general belief here is, if you look too much, you will lose focus. The 14th one is, if you pursue too much, you will lose everything. And lastly is that, if you expect too much, you'll be disappointed. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree to what I've explained so far, and if you have any scenario concerning the point I have raised so far about the general belief, or you have gone through any of them, or know someone that is close to you that have gone through any of them, how it play out. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with me or not. Remember, you can disagree. You don't have to agree with everything that I've said, and I am not forcing that opinion on anyone. I'm just giving my own thoughts about this. So let me know in the comment section below if you like what, or agree to what I have explained so far about the general belief about too much. The general belief about too much. And I want to thank my returning subscribers for joining me again. And don't forget to like and comment and share. And if you're new here and you like what I'm about, please subscribe, turn on your notification button so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.